Hey guys, so as you guys know, I like to introduce new people to the game or hobby, whatever you want to call it, of Dungeons and Dragons. And as most of you guys know, when I talk to you about joining my group or starting a new group or helping you out with your game, I tell you to swing by one of my games and tell you don't even need to bring anything. Don't spend money, not even on a dice, and I'm going to show you what exactly I mean by that. So, um, off the bat, people like, well, we really need dice. I have spare dice. There's a local shop here that sells dice like this really cheaply, like $3, and they come in all sorts of, colors and whatnot. So, I mean, I have bags and pound bags of this. Um, They're like $3 a pop. So I just buy them. So you don't even need to bring them. You can borrow a pack of dice and, you know, play the game and whatnot before you waste money on dice. So the next thing that's the obvious of, well, I need books because D&D has loads of books. Sure, I could pass around mine and Randy's books, the player's handbook, but it kind of bogs down the game. So I came up with a solution, and that is these Dungeons and Dragons player starter packs that I made. I basically went to the store and got one of those little package things to do it. Um, and it's nice. It makes it all neat, organized. But once you open it up, the first thing you're gonna see is your character sheet. And so what I did to fix the overwhelming feeling that you get when you see a character sheet, and see all these numbers and words and stuff, I highlighter and highlighted each section with a different color. That way, when it comes to that time for combat, you're only focusing on like the red and the orange. When it's like a more role playing thing, you're only focusing on the blue. Same with you wanting to know more about your character and what they are and how they became whatever. You focus on the yellows. So it makes it where instead of you looking at this whole sheet as you're playing, I can just turn to you and be like, look at the blue section. It makes it where it's not as overwhelming. So the back half is just more information on like your races, your classes, background type thing. And then on this side, it's talking about when you level up. Okay. So that's your character sheet, is the first thing you see. Next, really kind of solves the problem for not having a player's handbook. And I did not create this part at all. Um, Also, those who are wondering what these character sheets are, this is the character sheet for the starter kit for 5th edition. And I have a packet for each one. So all 5 of them have a packet. So back to the next thing. I did not create this thing. It came off of readthedamnbook.blogspot.com. I don't know the guy's name who came up with it and spent the time who did it, but it was on this webpage. And basically, it's a player's reference sheet to all the most key information you would be flipping through the book that bogs down a game. So it starts off with like your actions on the turn, and then it breaks it down to initiative, surprise, reaction, move, and it goes down from there, and then it's actions and combat, so attack, cast a spell, and stuff on that, dash, disengage, dodge, help, and it just goes on. And then on this side, it's talks about attack actions, mounted combat for when you're like riding on a horse or whatever, a griffin, underwater combat, falling damage, suffocation, Over here, it even talks about advantage and disadvantage, inspiration, cover, vision, resting, death and dying, concentration, stabilizing character. On the back, it has all of the conditions. So, again, I did not create this. It was on, again, readthedamnbook.blogspot.com is where you can find this sheet. The next thing I have in here, I think whoever made this image kind of took the stuff from the 3.5 Dungeons & Dragons book, but it is basically a lineup of both female and male of the racial classes type thing. So it has all the races and compares them in height and image. So, and then going back to the dice, because face it, there's so many different shapes and sizes and types of dice, and it's confusing for beginning players. So I found this online. I don't know who did it. So if you drew it, awesome job. I appreciate it. It's awesome. It's basically a chart with all of the images of the dice, and on the top it has the name. So I just highlighted it, and then I kind of pointed out that this one's the percentile and this is the 10-sided dice. So I have that there. That way, when we're in game mode and I tell you have to roll 12-sided dice, well, you look on here. There's the 12-sided dice. The next two ones, it's kind of hard to see, but it is a sketch maps. Both this one and the next page is sketch maps, done in pencil that I drew out and then just photocopied a bunch of copies on there, and it is of my world. The first one is basically the local town. Second one is the region. Okay, so you got the two main maps, and then the next section is just notebook paper and graph paper. Okay, and you guys will get one of these, and that's basically all you need for the game. So you have your dice and everything else that you need. It's done. And those who know about the starter characters from the starter set of 5th edition knows that the characters for cleric and wizard do not have their spells. It has the name of the spell, and then in the starter kit it came with like this little book. It's kind of like a mini handbook. And so what I did is I went and I downloaded on the Wizards of the Coast website, has basically a free player's handbook kind of thing that starts you to like 5th level. Well, on there it has every spell that is like the most popular, should I say, the most popular spells from like 1st level to, I think it's actually all the way through 9th level. It doesn't have every exact spell, but the most common ones. And so I just went and printed those out. Okay, so this is my Dungeons and Dragons spell casting guide. And the reason why I call it guide is because in it, it's not just the spells, but it has the rules on magic. Okay, and it explains to you, just like you would find in the player's handbook, all about magic and casting magic. It has a list now here of all the spells and what levels they are. And then once you get to it, it has all the spells that you'll find in the player's handbook, basically. So I made 2 copies of that. And the reason why I made, let me pull up the right one, 2 copies of that is typically in the game you have a wizard and or some kind of spellcaster and a cleric. And especially if I'm having you guys play using the characters in here, there is one wizard and there is one cleric. So it makes it where you each get one to use. And then it saves you for your first few sessions or whatnot from having to go out and buy the books and waste your money because you might not like the game. I think you will because it's a great game. But this is exactly what I mean by you don't need to bring anything. As far as miniatures and whatnot, I've got miniatures and stuff. That's nothing you absolutely have to worry about. But the big thing that people ask about is the dice and the player's handbook, and this solves it. And like I said, I have one for each of the characters that were the starter ones. So I have 5 of these. For my friends and family and whatnot who are DMs themselves, I know I have some family in Tennessee that was inquiring about what I put in here for my player's handbook, so I kind of did that video for that, and to explain kind of like what I meant by you don't need to bring anything, because I've lost count of how many times talking to you guys I've said just come to the game. You won't need to bring anything because I have everything. And this is what I mean. I make up these little packets. So it's like I said, here's this and this, and I hand you a pencil and you are set for the game. Like I said, you don't even need to bring notebook paper because there's notebook paper and graph paper in this kit too. So it's just set up for you guys. So anywho, I just wanted to get that out here for you guys and explain that to you, and kind of get you to see what I'm talking about and what you're gonna get when you come to my table. So that's about it. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.